It's time to play Eternatus on PTCGO. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today we finally have the cards on PTCGO. We have access to everything that we need, and we are going to take a look at Eternatus VMAX. This card obviously has the most hype in this set, and seems to be one of the better decks floating around at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll jump onto PTCGO in a second and take a look at the list, and then play a game or two with it. We'll see how it goes. But before we do that, jump down below and subscribe. Whilst you're there, you could like as well. That would be great. More people that like the videos, the happier I get when I wake up in the morning. So, you know, it's directly correlated to the amount of clicks that you give me, so that would be great. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's move on to the list and see exactly how Eternatus VMAX is going to work. So here we have the list that I have built, ready and raring to go for PTCGO. It's kind of a mixture of some of the lists that have been floating around online, as well as the one that we tested on Tabletop Simulator, obviously rotating around. This card, Eternatus VMAX Eternal Zone, means that we can have 8 dark Pokemon on our bench, which is very, very good. And Dread End means we can do almost a knockout on pretty much anything in the game. Obviously, 270 isn't quite deal enough to take knockouts on VMAX Pokemon, but when we've got cards like Zigzagoon in the deck, then we can definitely get ourselves pretty close. So this is going to be our main attacker. We've got a 4-3 Eternatus VMAX line. It's also important to remember that Eternatus V has Power Accelerator, which deals 30 damage and then accelerates an energy. It's really, really good because this deck relies on manual attachments, so if you go second, you can mitigate a missed attachment later on in the game, or you can potentially make it so that if your opponent knocks out one of your Eternatus, it does not matter. That 30 could also be quite handy when it comes to knocking out a potential VMAX, because the extra 30 damage will get you that a little bit closer to 320, 330, or 340, whatever it is you need to do. Down the bottom here, Dynamax Cannon, a good attack, unlikely to ever get used. We need 4 energy. We'll do 120 damage or 240 to a VMAX, but we're not likely to attach that many energy anyway, so we won't worry too much about it. Obviously, 4 Crobat in this list as well. We definitely need to have a lot of these. These are going to not only draw us extra cards, but they're also going to help us fill up our bench space. We mentioned the 4 Zigzagoons, which are very powerful, and I'm still not sure exactly which one of these I prefer, Evil Admonition Hoopa or the new Assault Gate Hoopa. Both of them pretty solid attackers. For me, Assault Gate seems better, but I'm not sure whether I'm ready to commit to a 2-line of this yet. Obviously, there are risks associated with it, but the Evil Admonition could also be relatively good, especially in other Eternatus matchups. Because you take a look here, pretty much every Pokemon that Eternatus is going to be running has an ability on it, so you're likely to see a lot of abilities if you do attack with Evil Admonition Hoopa. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. It'll come down to experience and testing to see which one of these is the better option. Now, when we look at our trainer cards, it's obviously all about Pokemon Search. We've got Quick Ball, 4 copies of that. We've got 3 Pokecoms and 4 Great Ball. Added into that, we also have 3 copies of Capture Energy to help us get Pokemon onto the bench. Obviously, Eternatus VMAX has that 1 colorless attack cost, so it's not the end of the world to attach 1 Capture Energy. It's also useful. We can get Venomous Fang off with Crobat, or even attack with a Evil Admonition Hoopa. The only Pokemon we can't attach a Capture Energy to is Assault Gate Hoopa, but that's okay because we don't really want to attach anything other than Dark to that anyway, so it's not a problem realistically. We should be able to fill up our bench pretty quickly. Now, worst case scenario, if we can't search for Pokemon that way, we also have 2 copies of Piers. I've been playing around with counts. I've had 4 in a previous list. I had 3 when I first started putting this list together. I still think we want a higher count of supporters, but I'm not entirely sure exactly what it will be. At the moment, we've got 3 Research and 2 Marnie as draw outs. But remember, Piers also helps you find your Crobats. So that's really, really good. And it can also find another Pokemon with Capture Energy if you have set yourself up beforehand. So Piers really, really strong. I'll probably increase this to 3, but I'm not entirely sure right now. Just like having the extra research to draw more cards. The rest of the list, pretty easy to deal with. We've got Great Catcher and 3 Boss's Orders. This could potentially get cut down as well. I like having the high count, though, of Gust. It means that we're going to be able to take knockouts pretty comfortably. We want to deal 270 to pretty much everything that we can. So Boss and Great Catcher will get us a couple of prizes every now and then. We have 3 Switch and 4 Scoop Up Nets as our ways in and out of the active. We also have 2 copies of Air Balloon. Could potentially be running High Darkness energy, but for the moment I like the consistency of capture. If High Darkness does come in, then you probably free up a couple of other spots for some other cards if you want them. We also have 1 copy of Reset Stamp for late game, and also a Black Market Prism Star to potentially stop some of our Pokemon from getting knocked out for their full prize count. We can attack with a Hoopa whilst we have a Black Market down, then we can potentially have a free hit. It doesn't really matter if our opponent knocks us out if we have Black Market down. Finally, 7 Darkness Energy. It's a relatively high count of energy in this deck, but we obviously need to have 2 for pretty much all of our attackers apart from our Hoopas, so we'll play with that count as we go along. There are lots of other cards that you might see floating around for this deck. We tried out what was it? Weavile GX. There's obviously other attackers we could potentially use. At the moment, this seems like the most kind of consistent Pokemon line. I'm not sure whether or not the supporters and trainers are quite there yet, but you know, it's the first couple of days of the set being out, and people are still actually playing old formats, so this potentially doesn't test against the stuff that it'll be playing against in real life anyway. So what we'll do is we'll take Eternatus VMAX out onto the ladder, and we'll see if we can't get ourselves a game with it. Hopefully we can use Eternal Zone and Dread End to its full capacity and take a couple of prize cards. That would be nice. So I've done a bit of testing with this already. I managed to grab myself a few wins with Eternatus so far. We'll see if we can replicate it now that I am recording. It's always the way, though, that you test relatively well. The recording doesn't go as good. Looking for a win on this coin flip. That would be nice. We'd really appreciate going first, and we've managed to do it there. So yes, we will go first. The meta is still very awkward at the moment because there's lots of people playing cards that will rotate in a couple of weeks, and there's also a lot of people testing out a whole bunch of random stuff, so not entirely sure what we are going to be coming up against here. This is a pretty good start, though. We can Great Ball here, hopefully find ourselves... Oh, a Crobat. That's pretty much exactly what we want. I'm considering playing down that stamp just to draw a few more cards. I would like that a lot. It means that we don't have access to it later, though, but I think it's going to be fine. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. It's probably not a smart play, but I want to get a Crobat for a few extra cards if I can, and this is beautiful. This is a perfect situation to be in. I can just sit on this hand now because I don't need to worry. I can play down the Quick Ball, discard a card from my hand, find myself Zigzagoon or a Crobat, depending on what I top deck, and then Pokemon Communication will find us the Eternatus VMAX. So we're looking pretty good. Looks like we're going up against Mewtwo and a Mew GX. Has 270 HP. Oh, a Big Charm. There you go. I was about to say it's going to be very easy for us to get knockouts on that, but it doesn't look like they're going to be letting us get away with it that easy. We're going to need our Zigzagoons here. And like I said, here we go. This is some of those cards that are being played at the moment that aren't necessarily legal. Inkay and Malamar will not be in the same format as Eternatus. So I don't think that this matchup really shows off anything meta-wise, but it is definitely going to be an interesting one. So even if we lose, I feel like it's probably going to be fine. There's a Solgaleo and Lunala from our opponent. They're going to Mysterious Treasure that away. We'll see what they can pick up off of their Mysterious Treasure. Looks like another Mewtwo and Mew. So, yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. This Ditto, if it stays in the active, is going to be a free prize for us. So, I'm relatively happy with that. Look at that. We've managed to find a Research as well. So, we are in a great position here. We can Pokemon Communication away this Hoopa. Grab ourselves our Eternatus VMAX. We can put that into play. Now, this Quick Ball can actually find ourselves a Zigzagoon. So we'll Quick Ball away the Fighting Energy, Zigzagoon, and tick the Mew with the what do you call it? Big Charm. We'll tick that a couple of times because we want to make sure that we can deal 270, and then we will research and we'll see what we manage to come up with. I'd like to see another Eternatus and hopefully a couple more Pokemon as well. That would be great. Okay, well, we got a couple more Pokemon, I guess. I might play one of these Crobats since we've got so many in our hand. Okay, cool. This is fine. We're getting a bunch of stuff, and that's all we can ask for. Ooh, that Eternatus VMAX looks pretty tasty here. We could get the Zigzagoon so that we could take the knockout next turn, but kind of don't want to lose our active Eternatus. This is a big call. In fact, I'm going to go with the Zigzagoon. I'm just going to get the Zigzagoon now, because if I get the Zigzagoon, then I can play this down, get the 10, and now if they do promote that, they're going to get knocked out. If they don't promote it, then we can gust it with Boss's Orders. So that seems like a pretty solid position to be in, and we've got six solid cards, and 4 of them are draw supporters. So if they do something like play down a one of those, what do you call them? What's the thing that the Pokemon that I'm trying to talk about here? Trevenant Dusknoir. If they manage to get one of those and shuffle our hand away, then we will be in a relatively good position, which I'm happy about. So, looking pretty solid. Looking pretty solid. They're going to use Malamar here to charge up their Mewtwo on the bench. And then they'll go for the Mysterious Treasure, getting rid of Silvally GX for a second Malamar. Seems pretty solid. Are they going to retreat here? Probably not. They've gained nothing by doing that. They've not got too many attackers either. They're just going for Brave Buddies here. Okay, so this game is over. They are not going to be able to come back from this at all. So this is pretty solid. What I'll do is I'll attach this Capture Energy down here. I don't actually know whether I want another Pokemon or not. I think I'm just going to use it for the energy attachment. Then I'll play down Hoopa, and I will play down another Crobat. We'll try and draw some more cards here. I don't really want to lose... Oh, perfect. I was about to say, I don't really want to lose the boss, so what we might try and do is hold on to our supporters here. I will take a knockout. It's kind of like, if I support her, then I'm going to lose this Crobat. I'm not going to be able to draw anything else off of these cards. I think I just have to go for it. I mean, it's probably fine to quick ball away the Marnie, because I'm not going to use that. I'll just grab an Eternatus out of the deck. And then we can just... Oh, I need energy anyway, because they're going to knock me out. Okay, I'm going to research. I need the energy anyway. So we're going to find something. We're going to find something here. And look at this. Okay, we've managed to get some stuff. No energy, though, which is disappointing. But we've got supporters. So this is fine. We will Dread End. Take the knockout on this Mewtwo. Pop 20 damage onto us from that Horror Psychic. We've got 3 prizes there. A lot of thinking going on this side of the field, but that's okay. That's what you've got to do to make the right decisions. There's a Fighting Energy, so as long as we don't get ourselves our hands removed by a stamp or something like that, then we should be okay. Looks like we are seeing another Psychic Recharge, possibly even 2, and a Cynthia. So as long as there's no stamp here, we'll go on to win this game. The Cherish Ball, they'll probably be looking for... Oh, Dragonite. That's a very interesting card to be playing in Mewtwo. I mean, fair enough, if you need to deal lots of damage, that's a decent option for you. 270 will obviously get the knockout, but they need an extra energy. Here's Cosmic Burn, there's the KO. So we are good, and we're ready to win this game now that Mewtwo is in the active. We don't need to do anything other than promote, attach, play down the Zigzagoon so that we've got the damage, so that we've got the Pokemon in play, and then win the game. So here we go, ping, ping, ping. Dread End, take a knockout. This deck is going to absolutely crush tag teams. I'm so excited. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So like I said, not necessarily the perfect deck. You just hear all the charms going off in the background after I've won that game. Not necessarily the most perfect list, but you can see just how powerful Eternatus VMAX is. The fact that we can deal so consistently 270 damage is a big, big threat in the standard format. Not a lot of tag teams are going to be able to deal with that, so if we do get a chance to see things like ADP Zacian floating around, then Eternatus will be a very strong contender. Obviously, there's obviously a lot of other stuff that could potentially come up as well. It's only day 2 on PTCGO, and really we won't know anything until rotation hits, so all the testing that we're doing at the moment, keep with a grain of salt. But that's the list. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Eternatus VMAX looks very, very powerful. We'll be seeing a few more decks just as powerful as this one, if not maybe a little less. Probably a little less powerful. But they'll be fun. That's the most important thing. They'll be fun. They'll be coming up on the channel pretty soon. So if you would like to see those, please subscribe. There's a subscribe button over the top of the Sableye right now. On the left side of the screen, that's some videos YouTube thinks you'll like. And the bottom right is a playlist, as always, of our current format testing. Thank you, everyone, for coming along. And we'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes.